Hello, farmers! Welcome to another fantastic, exciting episode of The Harvest Season. My name is Rochelle.
And I also have a name. It is Al.
Nice. And we're...
Oh, wait, I think I already made that joke.
I mean, what it is that
time.
I made that joke, but it's fine.
No, I can't remember. Whatever.
Look,
We're neither of us are original about anything, and nothing matters.
Our name's even real.
What is a name except a random collection of letters that refer to someone? We should all just have numbers. It'd be easier.
Farming games! Woo!
Yeah!
You know, here's the thing though. I know exactly how to answer this question. If you just have numbers instead of names, the number becomes your name. A really good example would probably be Runner 5 in Zombies Run, who is just 5, just becomes your name.
Cool.
This is, though, the harvest season, and we're here to talk about farming games. Woo! We have a very exciting episode in store for everyone today. Are we gonna go through feedback?
We are.
Ooh! And then we're gonna talk about what we've been playing recently. Y'all know this. This is normal now, right? You're used to this. You know this layout. And then we're gonna talk about the news, right? And then we have a very exciting main topic for y'all today. As always. Let's get to it.
Always exciting.
It's always an exciting day here at the Harvest Season Club.
The clubhouse. It's like a treehouse.
But it's in a club?
No, there's a club is in the treehouse.
Okay. So our official canon Harvest Season Clubhouse is a really big treehouse?
Yeah.
How big are we talking? Are we talking like...
As big as it needs to be. Big enough to fit everyone in, but not too big that it feels too big. That it's going to, topple the tree.
Okay.
It can be multiple floors.
Oh, we're getting real fancy here. I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, so clearly this isn't like a small forest. We have trees connecting to trees with lots of different tree houses with bridges. And you're just like, nah, bro, it's a literal house in a tree.
I mean,
okay.
Why not both those things?
¿Por qué no las dos?
Je ne parle pas l'espagnol. Bonjour.
I don't... Look, this is a 100% true story. When I was in elementary school and middle school and high school, we have to learn a language. We have to do X many years of a foreign language. And they tried so hard to get me to learn Spanish, and Spanish just did not click with me at all. I don't know why. I can't explain it. It just does not click in my brain. That's fine. I should try harder. It's fine. I got to high school and was like, I cannot do Spanish. And I was just like, I'm going to learn Mandarin Chinese. And people are like, you can't even do Spanish. You can't learn Chinese. Chinese is so hard. And I got into Chinese and I was like, no, this clicks. This makes perfect sense. Like, I don't see what the problem is. And so...
I would like to apologize to everyone who we've insulted with our language skills. So
I am deeply sorry. I am literally the worst.
Especially Dustin.
Sorry, Dustin. I'll get there someday. So let's start with feedback. We'll jump right into the thing and not have a discourse tangent that you lovely listeners will never hear because Al is going to cut it out and now you're just confused. Feedback!
I spend so much time editing this podcast. It's good. It's worth it. I enjoy it. I love it. Well, we have a new review on iTunes. Yay. Although I guess no, we can't keep calling it that because it's not iTunes. iTunes is dead.
Okay.
RIP iTunes. We have a new review
I'm not
on
biting on
Apple
this one,
Podcasts. Woo.
Oh, okay. Woo.
See, never can cut out the bit about iTunes because you just sound really unimpressed by the review and they'll just be insulted.
I'm sorry. It's not you. I love you, listener, who left a review. Who is it?
It's 88 Beeson 88.
It's not you, Beeson. It's me. It's me. I genuinely did not know the iTunes news, so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really changing anything. They're just basically splitting it up into 3 and changing the name.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever.
Yep.
Apple does what Apple wants. I don't care.
Yep.
Oh, that was very sweet. You should cut out reading the review, but then leave in me going, oh, that was very sweet. Thank you, Beeson.
I will. Is there anything else you want to tell me to do? You can just do the edit if you want. Right.
Well, if you'd like to talk about Moonchild syndrome.
That's the feedback. I think.
That's fantastic. Thank you for your feedback. If anyone else would like to leave us a review, we would really appreciate it. Go on to Apple Podcasts.
Yeah. Or
leave a review.
You can also go to Podchaser. Podchaser has reviews.
Podchaser?
I'm sure there's somewhere else. Probably Spotify. You can probably
literally
do it on Spotify.
Anywhere. Literally anywhere. If you leave us a review on some weird place, just email us I left you a review here. You get credit whether you buy into the Apple system or not.
Yeah, don't assume that we will have seen it somewhere if it's on a random website, but just let us know. But yeah, we do not subscribe to the iTunes
I don't even
matters.
use iTunes, Apple Podcasts.
I now have an Apple account, and it's only because I put it on iTunes, and I hope you're all happy that I created an Apple account just so you can get this podcast on your iTunes.
Well, see, now you're guilt tripping our listeners. Rude.
Maybe Spotify doesn't have reviews. I can't see any.
I don't know. I don't use Spotify. I use Podcast Addict, which is my favorite one. I've tried many, 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 many podcatchers, and that one's my favorite.
I just searched for Spotify reviews, and of course what comes up is reviews of Spotify. And I'm like, no, come on, nobody needs a review of Spotify. They're either or already using it or not going to use it. So then I searched for Spotify podcast reviews. So of course you know what's going to come up next.
A review of Spotify podcast function?
No, it's a podcast on Spotify called Podcast Reviews. Although technically it's called Podcast Reviews Podcasts, which is very confusing.
So, Al, what have you been playing recently?
I have been playing not very much, I don't think, in the last 2 weeks. I really should have been playing more. I've been playing a bit of Littlewood. I started playing God of War because I've had that game for several months and not even put it in my PS4, so I started playing that.
Okay, wait. Is this is there a new God of War?
It's
playing the new one?
It's from last year, I think, or something.
Okay.
Maybe it's 2 years ago.
Okay. Look, I know some things about God of War. It's fine. I'm just trying to...
2018, last year.
Okay. So you're playing that brand spanking new God of War game?
Yep. I've been playing that a bit, although I had one session of playing it for 2 hours and got past the introduction. And I've not done anything since. And that's really about it, I think, baby. I don't know. I was playing some stuff. What was I doing? I was playing something. I played some Mario Kart with some friends.
Yeah.
I need to look at my Switch. It's all the way over there. I don't know.
Look at your life. Look at your choices. Everything you've ever done has led up to this moment.
I played some stuff. Not very much. I've had a busy couple of weeks. But yeah, I've been playing a bit of Littlewood. What have you been playing, Rochelle?
Oh, well. You know what I have not been playing is Zombies Run. Mostly because very exciting development since our last episode. I have been sketchily diagnosed with walking pneumonia, which turns out is not couch to 5K training pneumonia, so not doing that. I played a little bit of Littlewood. Honestly, I've been playing a lot of Crafting Mama, which is a comfort food game. It's like Cooking Mama, but instead of cooking, you do arts and crafts. And it is one of the top 3 games of all time. I will die on that hill. Right up there with Hamtaro Ham Heartbreak. And don't laugh. This is indisputable objective fact. Hamtaro Ham Ham Heartbreak is one of the greatest video games ever made on this planet.
I'll take your word for it. No further information needed.
I have not been playing Hamtaro. I've been playing Crafting Mama and doing a lot of writing. I went to the swimming pool yesterday, and I should not have done that. Turns out I have walking pneumonia, and
not swimming pneumonia.
Worse. I have walking pneumonia, not swimming pneumonia. My human Ray made that exact joke yesterday when I was swimming in the pool. And I was like, I literally, by the end, I was like, I think I need to get out of the pool. I think I'm going to die. And Ray was like, yeah, that's because you have walking pneumonia, not swimming pneumonia. And I was like, I walked right into that one. I walking pneumonia'd right into that one. Poor Al. The listeners don't know this because so far as the listeners know, maybe some listeners know that I have made a singular tweet about this issue. Al has been listening to my dumb pneumonia jokes this whole time. Sorry.
They're very original, and I'm hearing these for the first time, and they're very funny.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I'm glad you really appreciate my sense of humor.
That's what I'm here for.
So that's what I've been playing. Sounds like we both need to get back on that video game life.
We especially need to start properly playing Littlewood in the next 2 weeks. No, week.
Don't say that.
That's what we've been playing.
Woo!
Woo!
Now for everyone's favorite section. The thing that everyone looks forward to more than anything else in this entire podcast. First on today's roller coaster of news, we have a brand new sort of game that was announced.
Sort of.
A brand new sort of game. Brand new sort of is exactly how I would describe this. It is a remake of an old Harvest Moon title called Friends of Mineral Town. That's coming to the Switch October 17th in Japan. I don't think we have any English information on it.
We do not. Not that I can see.
Well, if you get to next week when this releases and there's been information, you can angrily tweet at us about being wrong, because we are supposed to be your number one resource for 100% up to date, the latest news every episode.
Yeah. And that's why we record a whole week before.
Yep.
Hey, at least this information came out literally hours before we recorded the podcast. Normally it's hours after.
This is amazing.
It's exciting.
Yeah. So it's a remake of Harvest Moon, Mineral Town, Friends of Mineral Town? Friends of Mineral Town. Yes. I think. Is it a remake of Friends of Mineral Town, or is it... So, like, here's what I want to know. Can you play as a girl? Because this Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town came from the era where they were trying to be Pokemon, and they're like, here's the girl version and here's the boy version. And the girl version was more Friends of Mineral Town. Am I going to be able to play as a girl? Do I have to buy Harvest Moon remake of more Friends of Mineral Town to be able... Anyway,
so I mean, fine. I would presume that you would be able to, because I've not actually checked yet, but I'm at this point presuming that the Doraemon Story of Seasons game, you have to play as Nobu or Nobitu, whatever his name is, or whatever the name is. And there's not like a second character for that one. I think there's just the one character you play as.
That tracks because it's based on a different...
Well, that's what I was going.
Media.
Yeah, that's different because you're playing as an existing character. Whereas all the other recent Story of Seasons games have been, you get your choice of character and you can customize them. So I would presume that would be one of the things, because if you're remaking a game from, 15 years ago, 20 years ago? Something like that.
I don't know, I can look it up.
Then I feel like you're going to improve it to, modern ideas. Otherwise, there's no point, and you may as well just play the old game, right? And one of those is the more standard way of doing character choosing, which would be the choice of gender. That would just make sense to me.
I would hope so. Oh, wow. Friends of Mineral Town came out in early 2003. That's like
16 years ago.
16 years ago.
I was pretty close when I said 15 to 20.
You were exactly correct.
Yeah, I shouldn't have hedged, though. I should have just said 15. That would have been even better. Anyway. So one thing is, I don't think you've mentioned the name.
Mineral Town's Reunion?
Yes.
Bokumono Mineral Town's Reunion?
Yep.
Do we know specifically that this is a remake?
That is what I have seen in multiple places.
Is that what people who speak Japanese are saying?
Well, I don't know for certain, actually. So Cher from Fogu is not saying that. The places where I've seen it say remake have been generic news sites who I don't know the people who are sourcing and writing those stories. Therefore, I don't know what their knowledge of Japanese is and their credentials. So I don't know whether that's the case or not. So it may well be that it's not. I mean, if you think about it, right, Mineral Town's Reunion does sound like it could be. I mean, how much is there in terms of sequelness out of these games? But not a remake, but a game based in the same place but set later.
You mean we're getting like Ultra Friends of Mineral Town?
I mean, it might be. I don't know. There's very little we know at this point because when it was only announced, 6 hours ago, and only in Japanese, and the number of people who speak Japanese and care and are willing to translate to English is very small.
So this has been Wild Speculation Corner with Alan Rochelle.
Yeah. So I do find it. There are two things that I think about this game. So one is the thing that's really annoying me about this is the way that a lot of Western publications have been talking about this game, and the fact that they have been saying that they've been calling this game Harvest Moon Mineral Town's Reunion, which is, as you will know, dear listeners, because you've listened to this in previous episodes, that is not true. It is not a Harvest Moon game. Because obviously they do not own the trademark Harvest Moon, and therefore it will not be called Harvest Moon. So to call it Harvest Moon Mineral Town's Reunion is just wrong, and I think just adding to the confusion around this whole system. It is, however, legitimate to say that well, assuming that it is a remake, it is legitimate to say that it is a remake of Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town. That is perfectly legitimate, because that is true. But to say this is Harvest Moon Mineral Town's Reunion is just wrong, because we know that's not what it's going to be called. And it's just really annoying me.
Agreed. Just call people by the name they prefer. Games too. Good job, team.
Yeah.
I don't know if that fits, but we're going to use it.
It works. Yeah. It just, I feel like these places, some news agencies, obviously, they don't have someone on staff that likes every type of game and understands every type of game, which is obviously, unrealistic to expect that. But they could at least do some research. And it just really frustrates me, because clearly nobody actually understands what Harvest Moon is, if that makes sense.
It's frustrating because it's like in this little gray zone where, yeah, it would be unrealistic to expect everybody to do all the research and be 100% up to date on all the things. But also, as a journalist, you are paid to do research. But also, I'm sure whoever wrote that also had to write 35 other things for 35 other new games and is not being paid that much. I don't know. It's hard. Call things right. I'm sure, at least I would like to hope that when we get an English announcement, people will just start correcting it real fast, but I also suspect they won't.
Well, I would hope they would, because, I guess Doraemon Story Seasons probably hasn't had as much press as this would because of the niche aspect of the crossover, but I haven't seen anyone call it Harvest Moon after the English announcement.
Yeah. I'm sure that'll be the case. I would like to think. I also can see people not doing it because the old game was Harvest Moon, and therefore, I wish you could see my face right now. I'm making a face.
So I did a little bit of research, and it looks like, I mean, obviously the translation of this could be really bad, but it looks like it's probably a remake, because the Google translation is saying that Game Boy Advance's oh, this is really funny. So it has multiple translations of Bokumono. You'll love this. So the first one is was it Ranch Story?
Yeah.
That was funny. The next one was Rice Runaway Story. The next one was Rice Runners Story.
Okay, this is getting into my ideal farming game / zombies run crossover territory now.
The next two, I have no idea where this comes from. But instead of so when it's talking about Friends of Mineral Town and what it calls Friends of Mineral Town for Girl.
Yep, that's right.
Which is just such a fantastic translation.
I wonder if I think that might have actually been the actual name of the game.
Yeah, that's what it's translated. Well, no, the English version of the game, the name, like actually Friends of Mineral Town for Girl. It's like they're not even trying to hide. Anyway, not important.
No, anyway, go ahead.
The Friends of Mineral Town was Race Story, and this is the really confusing one. Friends of Mineral Town for Girl was Rage Story.
Okay, but like honestly though, big mood.
So anyway, I will continue on what I was saying. So in 2003, Game Boy Advance's Race Story, Friends of Mineral Town, and Rage Story, Friends of Mineral Town for Girl will be rebuilt and will appear this fall. So, I mean, obviously, I'm hinging a lot on the word rebuilt, but that makes it sound like it's probably a remake of the game. And also, that leads into you to asking about character customization. It sounds like you'll be able to choose from them because it's talking about it being rebuilt, but it's only talking about one new game. So presumably you'll be able to choose either in one game. And as a side point, the poster has what looks like typical interpretation of a male and a female protagonist. So one would presume that is what's happening. That
is the More Friends of Mineral Town female protag.
There you go then.
She's so cute with her overalls. I'm really into overalls this year. I don't know if you know that.
I do now. So yeah.
Anyway, so what I meant to say is that the actual Japanese title of the female version is essentially, I mean in Japanese, but it's essentially Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town for Girl.
Yeah.
Like that's the actual
but
title.
Not the English title. That's just the Japanese title. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it makes sense. It's just weird.
Yeah. Yes, it is very weird. And I think the thing is that actually when you when you have the name and you think that name is quite ridiculous, you then have to think, well, yes, because the concept is ridiculous. You know, like we're going to make a game for girls and a game for boys, and it's the same game. It's just play as a girl or as a boy, and you're like,
in one you can marry girls and one you can marry boys. This is really easy to solve by just allowing you to pick your gender and then allowing you to marry anybody. Like all I'm saying is ask me which sprite I want to use, ask me what my preferred pronouns are, and then let me marry whoever the heck.
Yeah.
This is all I'm asking for.
So the other thing is that it seems like a lot of people are very excited about this because apparently a lot of people think this is a very good, or the original one. Although I say the original one, apparently it was already a remake of another game, Harvest Moon Back to Nature. So this is a remake of a PlayStation game.
So we don't talk about Back to Nature.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's fine. No, we can actually talk about Back to Nature. But essentially, yes. Essentially, yes.
I'm strapped in.
Yes.
I'm ready.
No, that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, okay.
I wonder...
Cool.
I wonder if they're going to bring back marriage rivals. Because the thing in this one is they had rivals in Mineral Town, right? Yeah. So the thing in this one is that like each of the marriage candidates has like a rival who will marry them first if you're not good enough.
Oh no.
It's very stressful.
Oh boy, that's a whole other level of stress.
Oh, it's heckin' stressful, and people are very 50-50 on it. Anyway, so I guess we'll see if I can be a girl, and if not, I guess I'll just be a boy. No, I don't know.
It would seem very
harvest
odd.
goddess.
It would seem very odd if you couldn't be in 2019.
Okay, but also it may be 2019, but
yeah, I know. But like, if you think about it, like all the recent ones, like, I mean, for example, right? You have to, if you consider the fact that they do, restrict who you can marry, then that would imply that if you can only be one of them, then there essentially is a whole slew of characters that just don't even exist as marriage candidates for anyone.
Yeah, they're the rivals for you.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it would be very surprising with everything that we're seeing here, with the fact that they're talking about this as being a remake of both of the games, and also the fact that they have the female protagonist on the artwork. Like, that would be ridiculous if they didn't let you do that, right? I'm not being overly optimistic and naive here, am I?
No, you have a very reasonable expectation. It's just that the world has burned me, and once burned, twice shy. So...
The other thing I'm finding interesting is that we now have 2 Bokumono games in 2019. That's all. I find it interesting.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. Here's another thing. You're right. No, you're just right. I corrected myself. You're just right.
I mean, that seems surprising, right? That like the Doraemon Story of Seasons isn't even out in the West yet, and they've already announced another game.
Hold on. Are they trying to be Pokemon now? Because now they're like, okay, we're going to release on this new system, but first you're going to get a remake, and then you're going to get a side game, and we're not giving you a full Story of Seasons title.
Look, I am not complaining, right? We were sitting
in
our Trio of Towns episodes, we were talking about how we want a new one, and now there are 2 new ones coming out. So I am all for this.
I'm all for this. I am actually very excited. I haven't played Mineral Town in a long time. I kind of miss those characters, so we'll see how it goes. I'm very excited.
Yeah. It's exciting.
Remember how, like, you could only talk to Kai in the summer because that's the only time he's there?
I mean,
you've never played this game.
The question is, should I play the game before the remake comes out?
No, you should play the remake.
Okay. Cool.
It was a very good game. It suffers from the same thing that all 16-year-old games suffer from, which is the quality of life of video gaming has drastically improved in general, and it is painful to go back.
Yeah, true that.
This is exciting, though. I'm very excited. I know you can tell by the excitement in my voice.
Yeah.
Almost as bad as Al.
Anyway, speaking of Bokumono.
You want to talk about the next news?
Yes, there has been a patch for Doraemon Story of Seasons, or I guess technically Doraemon Bokumono, because, you know, Doraemon Story of Seasons doesn't technically exist yet, so there can't be a patch for it. Why am I like this, Rochelle?
Why are you like this? It's for the Japanese one, because that's the only one there is right now.
The patch does a whole bunch of rebalancing. I guess they realized that some things were overpowered and some things were underpowered, which is interesting. I think the only one I found really interesting was they've got a flower maker machine. I guess, you know, similar to like the...
Presumably you put wheat into it and it makes flour?
That's my presumption, yeah. So the original version of the game, it made 10 items every time, and now it only makes 1 item. So that is such a drastic change. That makes me wonder how overpowered that was. Like, yeah, was that putting in 1 piece of wheat and getting 10 flour? That sounds like a bug to me. Like,
that sounds like a bug to me.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great bug to me. Leave it in.
Well, yeah. I may not download the DLC, the patch. We'll see. Well, no, because there are also a number of bug fixes. There are some you could get stuck in the general store. There were some festival scenes that would happen outside the festival times. There were some game text errors.
Okay, so what you're telling me is I can make lots of money with flour, making 10 flour at a time, but also I have to live in eternal torment just in the shop.
Yeah.
Cool.
Also, you might also lose your tools.
Cool. I don't need it. It's fine. I'm stuck in the shop. I can't farm anyway.
I mean, I'm going to presume that the Western version will have this patch automatically anyway, because, we're still, 4 months away? When is it?
Yeah.
November?
I'm sure they'll stick it in the game before
5
it gets
months
to
away.
us.
Yeah, it they won't even have made the physical copies yet, so it will definitely be in the game before we get it.
But that's good.
Speaking of updates,
we got more updates. We got a Littlewood update.
Whoop! Just one though.
One.
No, not just one.
No?
Many.
There
have been 2 so far, and there's going to be another one this Friday.
That's 3.
Yeah, I know.
Have I ever told you about my D&D experience with many? Like, do I want to ask this?
I don't know. You tell me a lot of stories. I lose track of stories.
So, this one D&D campaign I had, we had a half-orc barbarian character, and the player, my friend, couldn't decide how high he could count. And so the DM was like, okay, take a d20, roll it. That's how high you can count. And he rolled a 4. And so every time he would try and count something, the DM would be like, and you count 1, 2, 3, 4. There's many things. That's all you know. And so every time somebody says that, I'm just like, there's many of them. There's probably 5, like, because he could comprehend 4, but not 5. So
it's funny because that's actually, it's quite a common thing in software as well, because you generally talk about 0, 1, or many, because those are all the different cases. So you can either have 0, that's a special case. You can then have 1, that's a special case. Or you can have many, and generally many, like any other number that is above 1 will basically work the same. So you probably don't need to write multiple tests for that realistically. But you will need to make a specific one for 0 and 1. So 0, 1, or many.
So what you're telling me is that actually this half-orc barbarian was just a software developer.
Exactly.
Perfect. It all comes around. 3 updates.
3 updates. So I think the main thing is that there's a whole bunch of dialogue updates, which is obviously good. If you've played much of the game, you might know that there have been there was quite a lot of dialogue missing. That is now a lot more has been added. There's a bunch of other stuff as well. You can read up on the Steam page. Sean details it in a lot of detail.
So much detail, we won't even read it to you.
One of the really exciting things, well, we won't read it all to you, but I will mention one thing that I'm very excited about, is that the space key now works as a confirm key, which is very nice, because previously I was really frustrated by having to press the return every time I wanted to confirm, whereas now the space key, because that's automatically what I was doing, was trying to press the space key.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Whoopity whoop.
Fantastic. I'm very excited.
I also just learned you can run in the game. Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so that's Littlewood. We'll talk. The reason we're not talking a lot about Littlewood is because we will talk more about Littlewood later.
Soon.
Now they think that's going to be our main topic.
Not this episode.
I'm sorry.
We've already said what the main topic is this episode.
Did we? Did we though?
Yeah.
Did we actually?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I did.
Yeah, you definitely did.
Okay, you're gonna have to let me know. I will eagerly await. I will eagerly await your DM at like 9 a.m. my time, which is like basically my 4 a.m. And you're being like,
I don't know. Anyway, our last news item is there are lots of sales. Go buy some games.
It's that.
I'm not going to detail them all because there are so many of them.
It's that summer sale time in video games. Go buy some games.
Yeah.
Go.
Like basically all the farming games are all on sale.
Buy them. Support them. Play them. Email us which ones are your favorite and which ones you want us to talk about first.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to have to talk about what I want to talk about. And literally no one wants to talk about Zombies Run with me. So.
I'm just waiting for the day that you come to me and say, Al, they were farming in Zombies Run.
Okay, but like actually?
Oh no.
Anyway, moving on. We're not going there. This is not a Zombies Run podcast. There is a Zombies Run podcast. And we're not it. So, do you want to talk about our main topic today?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Well, I was gonna like bust out the drum roll. It was gonna be very exciting, but I mean, if
yes, let's do it, Rochelle, because I have been looking
care.
forward to this episode for at least 2 weeks since I realized that I could say it was a farming game.
I can't believe that was not just a given for you. I think part of the reason I'm not like through the roof about it is because I'm just baseline normal about it, because it was just a given for me the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like, so I was considering it as a game that had a farming element, but not as, it wasn't the core element, and therefore it wasn't considered a farming game. And so I knew we'd talk about it at some point in some manner. But then I was like, you know what? No, it is a farming game. And then I went onto Slack and I was like, yeah, this is a farming game. And everyone was like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're agreed then.
I mean, what do you think?
Cool.
Literally, okay. I'm sorry, dear listeners. Just in case I didn't actually tell you what we're talking about today, we're talking about Minecraft.
Woo.
Which, I don't know. The reason I started playing Minecraft was because someone was like, you can build a farm. And I was like, yes. And so I did. Like, I don't play Minecraft to do whatever Minecrafty things. I play Minecraft to farm, which is a Minecrafty thing. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's right in the name. Mine Farmcraft.
I wish you could see my face right now. This is so good. We're so good at this. I have walking pneumonia, not mine farm crafting pneumonia. Sorry. It all comes around.
Oh dear. I don't know whether I'm going to absolutely love the augmented reality Minecraft game, or if I'm going to hate it.
There's an augmented reality Minecraft game?
It's not out yet, but yeah, it's called Minecraft World.
Oh,
you can build in the real world with your phone.
A little much to me. I don't know. Well, I don't know. This is a little bit of a tangent, which we have not done at all this episode, so this is perfectly
we've not
fine.
been recording for an hour and a half, and probably will have like 40 minutes out of that actual recording stuff.
But like, I'm very iffy about VR games. Like, first of all, I can't afford everything you have to get to play like a VR game. So it doesn't matter.
It's so expensive.
It is so expensive. Prohibitively expensive.
I think the cheapest way to do it properly is to buy a PS4 and a PSVR. Mm-hmm. And even that, you're still talking about £400 or £500.
Yeah, even that's really prohibitively expensive, and that's before you get to the games.
Yeah.
But just in principle, I don't know how I would fare. I kind of wonder. I was thinking about this a lot, especially this past month, because I was very randomly and very intensely reminded that, like, I actually get really, really bad vertigo, usually when I'm, like, high up. Like, I mean, when I say high up, I mean if I'm on the second or third level of a building or in a car park or
in a gallery.
I don't remember what that gallery is called, but I was so nauseous the whole time. It was awful.
The Gallery of Modern Art.
Yeah, I was in the Gallery of Modern Art in Al's homeland, and I was
in
Glasgow, and I was really bad vertigo. And then I kind of was thinking, literally, I actually was like 3 days ago, I was thinking, like, would I get bad vertigo playing a VR game? Like, I don't know. I legit don't know. I have to look into that.
I think so. Like, the actual being high is not the issue. It's the looking at something low down, right?
Yeah.
So, do you get vertigo in planes?
No, actually.
No. See, that's the proof, right? It's not about being high. It's about, I think it probably, once you get to a certain point, it stops being real to you almost. And so you look down and you go, that just looks not real.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, my mind is fine with it. Whereas, just a few stories up and you're like, okay, no, I can't cope with this. It's too real, if that makes sense.
It's very much a brain thing. And it's like your brain just like is having a hard time parsing out like, oh, I know I'm high up, but I'm also on something stable. I'm fine.
Yeah.
When then you end up with me crying to my friends like, I can't remember, but there's this thing where like you feel like you're on the ocean, but you're not on the ocean, so it doesn't make sense. And then your tummy is wobbly and they're like, vertigo? And I'm like, yeah, that.
See, I get really dizzy when I look up at high things. I'm not used to being around very tall things, right? Because, even Glasgow, where I originally come from, like the tallest thing is like 14 stories or something. It's like really not that high. And there aren't very many of them that are that high either. Like most things are like 5 or 6 at most. And Edinburgh's even more so. Like there's nothing that's that high. And so like when I went to London last and we went to the Shard, which is ridiculously tall, and I'm just like, I can't cope with this. And you stand at the bottom and you look up and you just keep looking up and you keep looking up, and then you're like, no, it's too high. There's something like this shouldn't be this high up, and my body just can't cope with that, and I need to stop looking up.
That's because you don't live very, very close to the base of the Rocky Mountains, which I do.
Well, no, mountains are fine, right? Because like no matter where you are, if you're looking at the top of it, you're not looking at a ridiculous angle, right? Even if you're like at the base of a mountain, because of the way that mountains work,
okay,
like the summit is away from you. It's not like right above you. So cliffs, I would have the same issue with, but mountains, it's not the same thing.
Depending. There's some places like that.
I'm sure there are, but like, the mountain, obviously we've discussed this before, our highest mountain is not as high as your house.
You have very cute little hills. Actually, it was very disorienting when I was in Scotland because like I kind of realized I have always had like a very, very, very good sense of direction and orientation. And it's not that I wasn't able to orient myself, is that I knew exactly where I was, but I was always backwards. Does that make sense?
No.
So like I would know the layout of the area around me and I'd be like, oh, to get to this thing, we have to turn left and then right and then get over here. Except that the reality would be I had exactly the correct directions and everything was in the right place, except that instead of taking a left, I needed to take a right. Does that make sense? It was like everything was flipped in a mirror.
Is that because you drive on the other side of the road?
Maybe. I don't know. But I think part of it might be that like, so I live in Colorado in the United States. And the mountains are west. Like, that is a permanent thing. And it doesn't matter where you are. You can find the mountains. Like, part of why, like, I bring, like, mountains up in particular is that there is nothing as high in the sky in anywhere in my entire time in Scotland as just the mountains I can look out my window. Like, and it's so weird, like, being in this place where everything is so low, like, where there's just, you can see so much of the sky all the time because there's not mountains halfway up. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's kind of like this thing where it's like, I always kind of know what direction I'm facing because of the mountains, and not having that reference point was kind of disorienting, I think. I don't get vertigo on mountains. It's usually just like man-made structures.
Interesting.
It's really
is that possibly to do with like, it being like, kind of a less steep gradient sort of thing. Like when you're in a building, it's like straight down to the ground, whereas your mountain, you're just like, okay, there might be some small cliffs and stuff like that, but generally it's like you can walk down most of it. Especially if you've gone up there, of course you can walk down it because you just walked up it.
Yeah. I don't know. Because I've been on some really heckin' steep hikes that made a difference. I'm talking like...
How have we got... Like, how did we just have a 20-minute conversation?
Anyway.
How did we even... I don't understand. What were we talking about?
So, I don't know if I'm going to play Minecraft VR.
Oh, that's what it was.
Don't worry, I always come back. I always come full circle.
I-
It may take me a
I
few
will-
days, but I always come full circle.
I will play it. I don't know how much I will play it, and I don't know whether it will take over from Pokemon or not. Great.
Okay.
Let's talk about Minecraft.
Are we sure you don't want to talk about Harry Potter, Harry Potter game?
That game's too complicated. There's too much stuff.
I'm not going to lie. 100%. I went to my people and I was like, will I enjoy this game? And someone like casually was like, yeah, it's pretty fun. It's a little complicated. You have to put in some effort sometimes. And I was like, outsies. Not playing this.
I opened up the game and I was like, okay, right. And the first thing that popped up was a foundable. And I'm like, well, first of all, that's a stupid name. Secondly, okay, fine, whatever, we'll do it. And then you do that, and then you look around and you're like, right, okay, so that's a greenhouse, and that's an inn, and that's a that, and there's like so many different things. And it's like you can get stickers, and you can get collections, and oh my goodness, why are there so many different things? Like, as someone who likes to collect things, there are too many things. So Minecraft.
So I guess there's a VR Minecraft I probably won't play.
AR.
And look, I'm really hot.
All right, okay.
I have walking pneumonia, not comprehending the difference between AR and VR pneumonia.
So, Minecraft, for people who don't know, if anybody doesn't know what Minecraft is a sandbox game, mainly focused on mining blocks and crafting things and then building things. It's a very blocky world, so everything is made up of these 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter blocks that you can basically remove any of them and build any of the same type again. Down to a point, there's a lower level bedrock that you can't destroy without hacks. And if you do, you just fall through the world, so don't do that. And yeah, it's quite an open game in terms of what the point is. I guess it was mainly made as a exploration and building game, but there are obviously a lot of other aspects to it, and it is only expanded over time. And one of the other aspects to it is farming stuff, which is why we're talking about Minecraft in a farming game podcast.
Woo!
Was that?
I basically I don't only farm in Minecraft, but I basically only farm in Minecraft. It's fun. There's plants, there's animals, there's fishing. You can collect flowers and create fields of flowers on top of a giant hill that you build a giant hill house into that you run your farm from.
Like the Tubbytronic Superdome.
No, don't answer that.
You know you want to know, don't you?
I really want to know.
That's the house in the Teletubbies. You know the Teletubbies, right?
Yes?
Yeah. Well, the house that is called the Tubbytronic Superdome.
Is it a giant hill with a house in it?
Yeah.
Is it covered in meticulously created fields of flowers?
Yeah.
In decorative patterns?
Where? Probably.
No, just don't say probably. I am better than the Teletubbies at Magical Flower House Hills.
Oh, probably, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that you were able to just tell me that off the bat, and I did not have to lead you to that answer.
Look, I just enjoy the fact that the name of the house in the Teletubbies, and it felt like the perfect point to bring up that fascinating fact, the fact that it is called
You're
the
welcome.
Tubbytronic Superdome.
So, there's 3 or 4 different parts to farming in Minecraft, in case you're sitting here thinking, I've never considered Minecraft as a farming game before, but I would like to try it because I really enjoy farming games. Let us tell you how. First of all, plants. Everyone knows when you farm farms, you take seeds and you put them in the ground and you grow things and then you harvest things. This is called farming. Let's talk about some of the crops you can farm. You can farm wheat, carrots, potatoes, beetroots, which is actually kind of exciting. I can't think of anything else where you can farm. I'm sure there's beets in other places. You can also farm pumpkins and melons, which are very exciting. I really enjoy the aesthetics of just cube pumpkins.
Yeah, and they're kind of done in a slightly different way from how the other the other crops do, because they grow on they're kind of vine ones, I guess.
Yeah, so like the first four, the wheat, carrot, potato, beetroot, are plant one, pick it, plant more. Whereas the pumpkins and the melons, you essentially plant a vine and then it continuously grows them.
Yeah, so like in other farming games where you plant a vine one, it's quite a standard way of doing things. But yeah, I love how the pumpkins look. They're just so great. And
it's a very fun cube aesthetic.
And you can turn them into a jack-o'-lantern. Which
is the purpose of doing it, and then the jack-o'-lanterns light everything up, and then you can take them into the basement of your hill house, digging deep into the earth where you have storage units of just like a million things, and you can decorate it with glowy pumpkins.
They also work underwater.
Yeah.
Which is very useful because not many light sources in Minecraft do.
Yeah. So the actual farming is pretty easy. You till the ground. There's a hoe, right? Am I making that up?
It is a hoe, yeah.
You till the ground. You plant some seeds. You water it. I think... I haven't played Minecraft.
So the way that the watering works is quite different from normal farming games in that you don't water the plants. They just have to be close to water and they automatically get watered.
As in, they need to be in an adjacent square to a square of water.
I think it's a couple. Correct? It can be a couple away, I think. Let me double check.
I think you're right. No, I think you're right. I think it's like you can grow like sugarcane and stuff, and sugarcane has to be on the water.
Yeah.
But crops just need to be within X amount of squares. Look, I'm on the Minecraft wiki, and I could look this up. I'm just choosing not to.
Yeah, so it needs to be, I think it's within 3 blocks of water.
So a farmland block, which is what you get when you till the ground, starts dry, and it will be hydrated if it is both. The water is up to 4 blocks away horizontally, including diagonals, and also on the same vertical axis or 1 square above water.
So it does mean you can
one
be 1
square below water.
It does mean you can be very efficient in terms of your layout, because you can essentially have a 9x9 square with only the square in the middle being water and the rest can be crops.
Or you can make little rivers and have very long fields of crops along the rivers.
Yeah.
Sugarcane on the river edges, and then other things outside of that, and then beautiful patterns of wheat fields with mazes. If that's your jam. Not saying that from experience. I really like making fun pattern things in Minecraft, okay?
That's fine. That's what Minecraft's for, making things.
And if you're sitting here thinking, you know what I don't like doing? I don't like designing intricate wheat mazes in my video games. Boy, do I have a proposition for you. Have you ever wanted to be a rancher? Grow some animals?
Yes.
Well then, let me tell you, Al. You can raise animals in this game.
I like animals. Let's raise some animals or grow some animals.
Let's grow some animals. What are your favorite ones?
Well, I think my favorite one is one that you don't actually farm because you don't get anything from it, but the wolves are definitely my favorite animals in Minecraft.
I mean, this is something to talk about because I don't know about wolves, but you can tame animals and have them be your pets.
Yeah, that's
like
what you
cats
can do
and dogs and wolves and stuff. So you have pets, which is very exciting.
And a wolf will will defend you as well. If you get attacked by a mob, it will attack the mob.
Which is fantastic.
It's great.
We also have sheep and cows and chickens and pigs, all of which you can raise, as I'm sure you would expect. Chickens give you eggs, and cows give you milk, and sheep give you wool, and pigs
give you one thing.
Pork chops. They drop pork chops and sadness. You can ride pigs. You can put a saddle on a pig and ride it around the world. That's fun. I guess that counts, right?
Yeah.
Sheep are...
This is the interesting thing, though, right? Because I guess most farming games, you generally just use the animals for their byproducts, right? You don't... I mean, are there ones where you can kill them to get meat and things like leather and stuff?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, so I guess that's quite an interesting aspect in this, because I guess most of the farming games don't want to really think that much about death. I mean, some of them do.
To be fair,
some of them
do. A lot
of
people don't want to think about it, but
that's true. I mean, some of them do. So, for example, in Trio Towns, your animals can die, but that's if you don't look after them carefully. You can't kill them.
They can die of old age.
Or that. But, they don't like to think about killing animals for meat, whereas you can do that in Minecraft, which adds an interesting aspect if that's something that you feel you've been missing from farming games. I've just seen, oh man, the best thing about Minecraft is all the crazy things that people do with it. And so just looking on the animal farming page on the wiki, there's an image, and underneath the image it says the output of an automated pig cooking device. It's literally an automated pig slaughter and cooking machine.
It's perfect.
Wow.
It's somehow exactly what I expected. Humans.
Is very something.
So there's all these animals. Sheep are fun. You can dye whole sheep. So if you want pink wool to make I don't know, a pink blanket for your pink bed, you can dye the actual sheep pink, and then it will just always give you pink wool. That's fun.
That is fun.
Right? You collect your animals, you have to find them in the wild, and then tempt them back to your farm with food, where you trap them in a fenced enclosure. Which is in no way whatsoever like kidnapping. And then, if you get more than one of them, you can tempt them with food to mate with each other, and then they make little babies.
Little babies with massive heads.
They're so cute. And then you have more of them. And if you ever leave the gates open, they run away.
Yeah.
Don't leave your gates open.
No.
A lot of people have made I think it was Kevin. Somebody showed me how to make this little contraption, because you can make little foot presses that'll automatically open and close things for you, and how to essentially make a double gate to keep animals in but not out. And I didn't realize you could do that, and my mind was blown.
Yeah. You can also do things you can jump higher than the animals can. So if you make it a specific height, you can jump over the fence and the animals can't.
Mm-hmm.
Which is handy. I think the animals can't go up one block, and so if you build up one block and then put a fence on it, you can jump on top of the block and then jump over the fence, technically, I think. Maybe I'm misremembering. There's something like that.
I don't know. I always just make a fancy fence.
Fair enough.
I like fancy things and fancy patterns, okay? And then you collect things from your animals and you make things out of them, kind of like you do with your crops, I guess. Do you want to talk about fishing and automation?
Yeah. So you can fish. You get the fishing rod. you can fish. I also found out recently that they've added salmon into the game since the last time I properly played it.
Ooh.
And you don't have to fish for the salmon. You can literally jump into the water and attack it with a sword.
Okay, but like honestly, I would expect exactly no less.
It's just the most Minecrafty thing. Like it's so fantastic. Because I was really they're weird looking fish, right? These massive salmon. But yeah, I love just jumping in and just chasing after them with a sword.
Hold on. Are you telling me never once in your life have you gone to a river with your trusty sword and murdered a few salmon?
No, I have not. Well, I have in Minecraft.
You're not even living, man. You're not even living.
Yeah, so you can fish normally or you can attack salmon with a sword. I don't think you can do any of fish. They just spawn in the world, in the overworld naturally.
Hopefully someone will fix that someday.
Yeah, although I don't think wheat would work for making fish mate.
I'm sure we'll figure out something.
And then, of course, we get into the fun thing of the automation, which is where all the really ingenious craziness of people's imagination comes into play. So, I love... One of the good things about Minecraft is the redstone, which, if you've not played Minecraft before, is basically a way of sending electrical signals, and you can do some ridiculous things with that. They're pretty sure there have been cases where people have made like Turing complete computers just with redstone. There've been people making massive calculators and crazy systems where you stand on a trapdoor and it will do all this stuff, and you've got buttons and switches and minecarts and stuff. But one of the things you can also do is use it to automate farming, and you can do it as something fun like if water goes over fully grown crops, it'll harvest them and then they'll just kind of flow down the water. So you can make this field that has water held back by trapdoors, that when you press a button, the trapdoors open, the water flows down, and then all of the wheat comes with it, and you can do it in such a way that it just all falls into a box, and you can just pick it up there, and that's great. I love it. There are so many different these things. We could just spend like hours just going through and looking at all these things that people have done to automate farming in Minecraft. It's basically endless, and that's even just with the base game. That if you have mods and stuff, there are some other crazy things you can do to we talked about mods a couple of episodes ago, and Minecraft was one of the key things we were talking about with getting a lot of people into modding, and one of them is like kind of automatically crafting things and putting them in boxes and stuff like that. And you can do that sort of thing as well if you want. Yeah.
And there's lots of like, if you really want, look into the mods. Like there's lots of like really cool mods. Like there's an entire farming mod where like the whole point of it gives you things like horses and pumps and sprinklers and plowing and machines to make biofuel and goats and tractors, and it's really fun. And a lot of food, extra things, and you can literally just make a farm. I know this sounds very weird and boring, like we're just listing off things that you could do in Minecraft, but the thing about Minecraft is that it doesn't have a plot. It doesn't have a goal. Your goal is to do whatever you want. So all you could do is take these things and do whatever you wish with them.
Yeah, I think Minecraft was probably the first game I played with the kind of initial no plan, and you come in and it's just like, hey, you can do some stuff, and you're like, oh cool, I can do some stuff. And that kind of real satisfaction you can get from farming games where you're just living a life and you're just doing some things, and you're raising some crops, you're raising some animals, you're doing what you want. Minecraft just takes that whole idea to the extreme, and it's just like you could literally spend hours and hours and hours just making a farm and doing nothing else in Minecraft, and just, hey, here's a farm, and I'm just constantly farming. And if that is something that tickles the right part of your brain, it's almost like the perfect game for that sort of thing.
If you're the kind of person who needs something to do in a game, it's maybe not quite as much for you. So, fair warning.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I really enjoy just making fancy looking things. It's very fulfilling. It's a good game. I like Minecraft, I think.
I also like Minecraft. And I've had so many different types of play that I've done within Minecraft that have, for different stages in my life and for different, moods and stuff like that. There's the times where I've literally just spent hours just mining, just as far as I can mine. Just keep going.
Okay,
just keep
but
mining. And
one of the biggest Minecraft moods ever is I'm just going to literally destroy everything on this world.
Well,
I'm just going to collect
that's the other one as well, is there's the mood which is just like, I'm just going to hack in a whole bunch of TNT and just blow everything up. That is so satisfying as well. And then there's other ones where I've just I've built a farm and raised it and done that. And then there've been other ones where I've built incredibly tall structures or massive caverns or my undersea glass house, and there are so many different things you can get out of Minecraft. I just love everything about it. It's like there's so much to it, and I don't feel like one of the problems I have with games is that obviously I like to complete everything, and if I see a list of things I need to complete, I need to do it. But there's nothing in Minecraft of that, so I don't ever worry about that. Yeah, I like Minecraft.
So, on a scale of 1 to 8, how much do you like this game?
See, this is a hard one, right? So, I don't play Minecraft very much nowadays, but that's not because I don't enjoy the game. It's because I don't have the time to sink into it. I think if I think about everything that I have put into Minecraft and the time that I've had, I would probably have to say a 7.
That's not bad.
Yeah. If I was talking about, if this rating is something about what I'm likely to play, then probably much lower, because I'm unlikely to spend much time in it nowadays, just because there are so many games and, I just don't have the time. But if we're talking about my whole time playing this game, it would be pretty high, like a 7.
How would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 8 in terms of how much you enjoyed it as a farming game in particular?
Yeah, that's a very different question, I guess. I feel like I didn't play the farming aspect of it to its full potential, and I guess one of the things I do like about farming games, one of the best things about Stardew, for example, is getting to know people. And although there are technically villagers in Minecraft, you don't know them, right? You don't get to know them. You don't have any relationship with them. They
are villager NPC.
Yeah.
I will sell you this for 10 emeralds.
Yeah, exactly. And that is a huge aspect of farming games to me, the relationship with the villagers. So it would have to be lower, I think. And yeah, I guess I don't massively play farming games for the constant monotony of it. I do like to see progression, and there's not a huge amount of that if you're just farming in Minecraft. I mean, it depends how you're using it, right? But you're not growing wheat to go and sell at the store to then, be able to build some other thing or buy some other thing. Like, that's not really how it works. It's very different. It's like farming is a thing that exists in Minecraft almost as a byproduct of the game. So probably like a 5.
I think that's fair.
What about you?
Yeah, 5.56. I think I really, really deeply enjoy it, but in an entirely different way than I do, say, like Trio of Towns or a Rune Factory game. It is a farming experience very much. It's a very different farming experience. I don't necessarily miss having like story and plot and characters when I play Minecraft, but that's because I go in knowing I'm not going to get that. So I tend to only play it when I don't want those things.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, thinking about what I generally use farming games for, like I don't think I would use Minecraft very much as a farming game, because I don't think it does the same thing in the farming as what farming games do, but the kind of, the building and the crafting and there's always some sort of goal you can have in Minecraft. That very much does have the same thing and scratches the same itch in my brain that farming games do. even though that bit isn't the farming bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And like, even in saying how much I enjoy farming in Minecraft, it's very much, it is through the lens of the game itself. So like, what's fun about farming in Minecraft is not, I'm harvesting some wheat. It is, I am designing and building a fancy looking farm. Because at a certain point after you've made something, there's no point in like, I mean, I guess you can just sit there and use it perfectly and harvest as much wheat as you want. But then like literally all you're doing is harvesting wheat. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
There's no progression from that aspect.
Yeah. So it's very much tinted by like just the game that it is, which is primarily about sandboxy building things. You know what I mean? So if that's the kind of farming experience you're looking for, this is a really, really great game for it. I would actually highly suggest it. Just know what you're getting into and don't be disappointed. The only way you can marry somebody in this game is if you call up your friends and you're like, bro, my poor farmer needs a wife. And then your friend is like, that sounds like your problem. Sorry, bye. And then you force them to play anyway to make a character who's a wife for you. Like, that's it. That's the best you're going to get.
Yeah.
This has been the poetically, appropriately non-structured episode on farming in Minecraft.
Yeah, no, that has worked out quite well, hasn't it?
So tell us all about your Minecraft experiences. Show us your farms if you'd like. Tell us your favorite animal. Tell us your favorite mod. Tell us how many pigs you've ridden in your entire life. And anything else. You can email us at harvestseason.club, which is our website. You can tweet at us on Twitter, which is... Why are you laughing? What have I done?
You can tweet at us on Facebook.
I don't have a Facebook.
Anyway, just keep going. Just ignore me.
We are at THS Pod. That's THS letters for the harvest season. And pod, like podcast without the cast. If you would like to talk about Zombies Run, if you would like me to try and explain Moonchild Syndrome to you, I literally would probably die for the opportunity. Please tweet me at Miss Delaney with 2 L's.
If you want to talk about something else, to me, I have interests. Scotland, then you can tweet at me at the Scottbot. That's Scott with 1 T, because being Scottish is all I have.
Oh. Ew.
That is my thing, and I'm okay with it.
That's not true. You're also a man. You're also a cis white straight man.
Okay. It's the only non privileged thing I have.
You do software development.
Oh, come on. That's privileged. Let's be honest.
You're a cis white straight software development man. I'm such a
stereotype.
Some really heckin' cute kiddos.
I mean, you're not wrong there.
You play Pokemon. You play farming games. People can talk to you about that.
I like farming games. Come talk to me about farming games. And feel free to post me all the people who are calling Bokumonu Mineral Towns reunion as Harvest Moon, and I'll get annoyed. And yay, we can get annoyed together. Yay. If you want to be annoyed, tweet it out. Yeah. Oh no, that came out really wrong. No. I'm sorry. Thank you for listening. And until next time, have a good harvest. Woo! The Harvest Season is created by Rochelle Delaney and Al McKinley. Our art is done by Micah the Brave, and our music is done by Nick Burgess. Feel free to visit our website, theharvestseason.club, for show notes, including links to things we discussed and transcripts for every episode. Thanks for listening. A game about farming game. A pod
farming pot.
A game about farming games.
Oh.
Oh boy. What a start. That's fantastic. I love it.
Farming games. Woo.
Farming games. We like farming games.
Would you believe I'm not even drunk? It's really hot.
What even is drunk? Is drunk even real?
Okay. I came out to have a good time and I'm feeling so attacked right now. Okay. There's your blooper for the episode.
You can't tell me what to do.
I am Slack mom. You do have to listen to me.